How y'all doing out there? Left Lane Dipper here. Come make another video. It is September 9th, 2019. It's a Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you have a successful work week. This is, as you can see, the title of this video is Tennessee Review. Tennessee versus BYU review. Your final score in double overtime: BYU 29, Tennessee 26. Obviously not the outcome that we were hoping for. It's gonna be a long season, folks. I'm sure you already knew that, but you know, I want to go ahead and cover the stats, and then I want to get into the meat of this video. But before we do that, I told you in the last video that I had purchased a couple of things from mudjug.com, and I wanted to go ahead and show them to you. The first item that I had received, and that's the first one I've gotten too, is the Mudjug can lid. Stokers. It's not what we're dipping today, but, well, I mean, I will later in the day, but snaps right on like that. The only thing I found is that to put on a Copenhagen can, I had to get a pair of pliers to get that motherfucker off. So I don't suggest putting it on a Copenhagen can unless you're gonna just refill that with some other dip or something. But hell no, this Stoker's can lid is getting stuck in there. That was the first item. They had a Labor Day special. If you purchase $39.99 or more, you got a free Orange Stealth. Now, being a Tennessee fan, this is so similar to Tennessee Vol Orange, and I just love the color of this. And then I had purchased a classic mud jug, but for $9.95 you can add a basic. So I ended up with the orange roadie. Check out that bad boy. I just love that orange color. I mean, Vol Orange. But the major purchase was this right here, and I just love this. I believe it's called, I don't know exactly what it's called. I think they did it in honor of like Dexter or whatever. I mean, the detail on this is just crazy. I mean, I don't watch horror movies, but I mean, I just loved this design. I mean, just the blood splatter, and said I don't watch horror movies, but I just really, it's just a damn good looking mud jug. So that was my purchases from mudjug.com. We're doing something a little different today. I have done this dip before, but what we're doing is Copenhagen original pouches, because you all know I don't like. Oh yeah, don't forget to pack your pouches. Just kidding. I like the flavor of the original. I just don't like the cut, and you all know why. So I thought I'd try, and they're pretty good. So we'll go ahead and put us a few in her. So now we got our lips loaded. We'll let that soak a while. Now let's get into this review. Mud jug of the day, by the way. Blood splatter. I noticed one thing with the pouch, because I did them over the weekend. You don't have to spit as often, and the flavor is really good. I just, like I said, I don't like the I just don't like that cut. It's more of a fine cut, and I just don't do the fine cut. So I want to get into the stats, and then I'll get into the meat of this video. You look at the stats for this game, And they're pretty well even across the board. Time of possession, which Tennessee won by a considerable amount, 33-59 to 26-01, but yet you lose the game. Rush yards, 242 to 107. You still lose the game. And I said in my last video, team that typically runs the ball better wins the game. Well, leave it to Tennessee to prove me wrong on that. We had more total yards. They had more passing yards. Not by a whole lot. 176 to 232. The stat of the game. 1 turnover to 0. We turned it over once. They didn't turn it over at all. Well, actually, you could dive farther, and that was a 4th down conversions. I believe we were 1 of 3. So we gave the ball to them twice on downs. And there was one, I think it was in the midway to the 4th quarter. That was almost like the turning point in the game. Our red zone offense is absolutely trash. You're in the red zone 4 times and you get 1 touchdown. I mean, how are you going to win if you're kicking field goal? You might be able to win. They could have won this game, but what are you going to do when SEC play starts? You ain't going to beat SEC teams kicking field goals. You got to put it in the end zone, and we're incapable of doing that. I mean, yeah, Jauan Jennings scored 2 touchdowns, but I mean, I could go on and on and on about how bad this game was. Running backs not finishing, not getting the first down. Garantano throwing a half-yard pass to a halfback or to even a receiver, and as soon as he catches the ball, he's tackled. And then 3rd downs were terrible for both teams. 5 of 16 and then 5 of 13. We were 5 of 16, they were 5 of 13. Players of the game. Player of the game was Brent C., our field goal kicker. He scored 14 points. He had 4 field goals and 2 extra points. And then Jauan Jennings was my first, what do I call him? Honorable mention. 4 receptions. 88 yards, I believe, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he's the heart and soul of this team. I wish we had, 50-something more players like Jauan Jennings. I had the heart and the passion he has for this team. And then I didn't want to mention my second honorable mention, but he did have a good game stat-wise, and that was Ty Chandler with 26 carries and 154 yards. Again, backs not finishing. I mean, how many times we got so close on 3rd down to getting the first down, but they were like half a yard short or a foot short, yard and a half short. You got to finish. You got to know where that first down marker is and get that first down, because it really hurt us in this game. BYU, Zach Wilson was the player of the game for them. He was 19 of 29, 232 yards and a touchdown. He definitely made the difference. And then Micah Simon, 7 receptions and 127 yards. That was our first honorable mention. So there's the stats. Now, I'm probably going to get a little heated in this next part of the video, because I'm fucking upset. I am fucking frustrated. I'm at the end of my patience with this team. And I've been on social media following people, reading comments, And it's like, fire Pruitt, fire Pruitt. You know, no. I know he's not a tested head coach. I know he's not a great head coach. But he's doing what he can. He's only had 2 recruiting classes. And 2 years is not enough time to develop talent. The best way to develop talent is to redshirt them for a whole year. That way they have an extra year in the program. An extra year to learn. So, at 5 years, you have all your own players, and you have them all. You know, you try to redshirt as many as you can. You still got 2 classes of Butch Jones players. Now, there's some good ones. Don't get me wrong, but the state that this program was in when Pruitt took over was absolute. It was a dumpster fire. And, you know, you say, oh, well, they won so many games with Butch. Well, I think that was due to just natural ability among certain players. Because you saw what happened when those certain players left. Like Alvin Kamara, Joshua Dobbs, Derek Barnett, you know, I could, Josh Malone. I could list multiple players. Once those players left, then what were you left with? The inability to develop talent. And that's carried over to now. So it's going to take time to develop talent. And it's going to be a long rebuild. And I know they've been saying that for years, but I think this is actually a rebuild. Because I think that the coaches that are there, they're good coaches. They're great. They're actually, I don't say they're great. They're really, really good coaches. And it's going to take time to fix this. Now, look at a team like, let's say, just say Texas A&M, where Jimbo Fisher took over last year. Well, that program was on solid ground. They weren't competing in the West for West champion, SEC West, but they had a decent solid foundation. We had a bunch of crumbled ass bricks when Pruitt took over. That's what we had. So, yeah, it's just going to take time to rebuild, and fans are not patient. There's so much instability in this program. You know, you bring a guy in, and you know, and he's in year 2 and he's not winning, so let's get rid of him. You know, you take a guy like Mike Leach from Washington State. He won 12 games in his first 3 years, but now they're not at the top of the Pac-12, but they're at a decent middle-of-the-road team that could win 8 to 9 games a year. I would be happy with 8 to 9 game wins a year. I mean, I would love to win 12 and 13 a year, but it's going to take time to get to that point. And I don't think Pruitt's the coach for the future. I think he's a coach for now. You have to keep him for 4 to 5 years to get some stability, to get to where you can win 8 and 9 games a year, and then bring in a high-profile coach that could take you to the next level. And maybe Pruitt's the guy to do it. We've just got to give him some time. Rebuilds do not happen overnight. You know, you can look at Florida, you can look at Ohio State. Well, you know, when Urban Meyer took over Florida was in a good shape. They had a good, solid foundation. We did not have that when Pruitt took over. And please keep that in mind when you say fire Pruitt. Well, he's got to build the foundation before you can actually see what he's capable of doing. The biggest problem right now is the quarterback situation. Jared Garantano, I almost said Garantano, has been in this program for four years. And I do not see, obviously the first year he was redshirted, but I do not see any development. I don't see any progression. getting better. Typically, a quarterback will get better the longer he's in a program, and that's not happened. I haven't seen it from freshman to sophomore, or sophomore to junior. And my question is, how long is Pruitt going to live by Garantano? How long is he going to put up with his bullshit, his inability to lead this offense? Stares down the prime. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a quarterback, and I'm not pretending to be a coach or anything like that. I'm just going by what I see on the field. This is a review of this game based on what I see. Stares down your primary receiver. He lacks vision. Can't read a defense. And this is why we're 0-2. He cost us this game. There's a play, the play that has stuck in my mind since it happened. It was 3rd and 9 in the second overtime. We needed 9 yards to get a first down. What does he do? He throws a maybe a half-yard pass, and the receiver is tackled immediately after he catches the ball. Which, by the way, hadn't worked the entire game anyway. So then you settle for a field goal. As soon as that play was, I knew the game was over. Because in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, we could not stop their offense. And I knew it was only a matter of time before they scored and the game was over. We had to have a touchdown. 3rd and 9, and throws a half-yard pass. At least throw it to somebody that's at least close to the third down, or the first down marker. I look at a team like Clemson. Now, obviously, our talent level is nowhere near Clemson. But last year, they made a quarterback change, 4 games in, I think, to Trevor Lawrence, a true freshman. They took a chance on a true freshman, and they won the national championship. At this point, I think it's time for a quarterback change. I think it's time to give JT Stroud a chance. What could it hurt? When things aren't working, you've got to bring new blood in. And this is the time to do it. This is the time to make a quarterback change, because if he continues to stick with Garantano, we might win a couple of games. It's time to start building for the future. Garantano has proved he is not the quarterback for the future. If that were true, we would have seen it already. And he had time to throw. We've got a better offensive line, and he continues to make poor decisions that cost us the game. I mean, I could go on and on, but I don't want to make a 30-minute video here. So there's the review for the game. Just a little bit of my frustration about this team. Hopefully we can win this coming weekend. We should be able to win. And then we travel to Georgia. No, we travel to Florida. I'm sorry, we travel to Florida. Real quick, head over to Stokers.com, enter, you have a chance to win a mud jug. You enter that once a week. That resets Monday at midnight, and then you can enter to win the C10 tricked out truck every day. On the back of your Stokers cans, if you got them in your area, you can scratch off that code. Another chance to win the truck. $25,000 is the second prize, and then third is $5,000 for the tools. I really like this dip. There's a stigma, there's a reputation, pussy pouches, whatever. Dip is dip in my opinion. And I don't like the cut of Copenhagen long cut, but I like the flavor. It's the only natural that I've tried that actually like the flavor. So yeah, it's got a good natural flavor to it. It is just a little different because it's got that pouch material in there, but I like it. Pick you up a can. You know, maybe you don't like the cut like I do. Just show you my latest purchase one more time. Look at that. That is a sexy ass mud jug right there. All right, thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next week for the review of the UT Chattanooga game. Until then, keep living, keep dipping, and keep spitting. I'm out, y'all.